Hey guys, and welcome back to a long anticipated video. There's a big hype at the moment over the last couple of years around prop firms, who to trade with, how to pass them effectively, and you know how to best go about things, because so many people fail in trading, of course, and I think even more people fail at prop firms. So what I've done for transparency purposes as well, so you guys know that I'm a genuine trader, I've decided to take an Alpha Capital challenge account, a 100k account. As I'm talking at the moment, some screenshots will pop up of confirmation of that, the confirmed payment of that from my bank, so it's all legitimate for you guys to see. So I decided to take a 100k account out and document the whole process and give some advice, some tips along the way, and obviously break down some trades along the way as well. Now, what I've found with this challenge so far, I'm currently at the time of this video, I've passed phase 1, which was 8%, which is what this video is going to be about today. And I'm currently on my phase 2 account, which I've had for the last 3 to 4 days, and that's currently around break even at the moment. So yeah, 5% is a target on phase 2. So I'm hoping probably by, it's currently a Saturday, and I'm hoping by the end of next week, phase 2 is passed. But we'll see. We'll see if the market gives us the setups we're looking for, then brilliant. And if not, then so on, and we'll sit on our hands. So I'm going to try and keep this video as condensed as I can. I ended up taking quite a few trades on this first phase. So to try and keep the video as concise as possible and informative as possible, I'm going to go through some of the bigger winning trades, the most optimal ones, and then just cover some of the losses as well, so you guys know the difference between a really good optimal setup or what I've taken, and obviously some of the losses I've incurred as well. And obviously we'll throw in some screenshots of the performance on the Alpha Capital dashboard as well. So it is all transparent, it is all clear, and so ultimately this video can massively help you become a better trader from the setup side of things, and a better trader in terms of how to navigate these difficult challenges. So let's get straight into the video. Just before we get into the trades, one thing I told myself that I would promise myself I would do with this challenge is I would only have 2 trades open at a time, but there was a very specific rule to that. I could only open a second trade on this phase 1 account if my first trade that was already open was running risk-free. If it wasn't running risk-free, even if I saw another brilliant setup, I wouldn't take it. Because obviously, you know, around the 5% daily drawdown, you can't exceed that, or you know, a $5,000 loss each day. Obviously, the overall maximum loss is 10k. So you've got to be very hot on how many positions you have open. I use very small lot sizes, so I was only using a lot size between you know, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 at times. So very, very small compared to what you'll see on the internet with people trying to use 20 lots, 10 lots, 15 lots. That's why people go wrong, because you are going to incur losses, as you're going to see in a minute when we break down the trades. We all do. I incurred plenty of losses on this first phase in the overall grand scheme of things. It's all about risk management, as you know, and I preach it so much. It's the only thing that keeps me profitable, keeps anyone profitable, is discipline with risk management. So that was one of the rules I had, and I want to share that with you because I think not a lot of people will do that, and not a lot of people will know that. Only take one optimal setup at a time. And obviously you can have a second setup once the first setup's running risk-free. So you never have more than maybe 1% or 1.5% running in terms of risk at any point. So again, you stay away from those drawdown rules in terms of getting stung on those. The other thing I would say as well with this account challenge is, as I've gone through this, is that it's so important that you don't try and hit home runs. If you are 1.5% up, or you're 1.9 or 2% or 2.5% up, take the profit off the table, okay? Markets, obviously, they're always changing. There's always news coming out that can make things choppy. This is why I always preach higher time frames, of course, but you get the picture. Don't try and hit those home runs for 5, 6, 7%. Those are monster trades, and they are far and few in between. Bank the 2% when you can, bank the 1% when you can, because actually then getting to a 5% profit target on phase 2, which I'm obviously doing at the moment, but also phase 1 for this account for 8%, you're only looking at maybe 4 to 5 winning trades, and that gets you over the finish line whilst keeping your risk really low. So that's a really, really important sort of tip or a couple of tips I would give you guys. So let's get into some of the trades. So for full transparency, we are just going to obviously click refresh, just so you guys can see, and I'm also going to refresh the whole tab there as well so you can see. So this is phase 1, and as you can see, we started on the 6th of August. It took us 9 trading days. Account size obviously 100k account, as you all know, and obviously the equity, the first target was 8%, which we smashed. So, obviously my name is Philip, for those of you that don't know. I've just blurred my surname purely because for privacy regions. So it got off to an interesting start. We actually went down 1.5% on a trade, which we're going to go into in a minute. But then after that, it was a nice, fairly steady consistency increase in terms of equity and obviously the overall balance. So it all went quite well in the end, and I'm just going to pop up a screenshot here of obviously the profit targets and all of that as well, so you guys can see. It all went quite well in the end, but we did get off to a bit of a shaky start. So, as I said earlier, I want to keep this video succinct as possible. So it's not going to be possible to go through every single trade, but I want to show you some of the most optimal trades that brought in the biggest percentage gain and obviously cover some of those losses. So one of the biggest first wins was about a 2.3% win on a gold long. Brought in just shy of 200 pips in the end. So just as you can see, we're on the daily, we'd broken out to the upside, we'd taken out the previous bearish daily RSP, which was here, we'd broken structure here, so basically we'd formed a new higher high, or a first leg to the upside. Then all I was looking for was simply some form of pullback on the daily to then look at taking this long. Now, we had an area of interest around the 78.6, we had the daily EMA there as well at the time, and we'd obviously pulled quite low. So for those of you that follow me, when we take trades off the 78.6, it gives us the best risk to reward, because it then means we only have to have our stop loss below sort of prior structure, just sort of here to cover that prior structure. But then it gives us really good targets. So because obviously if it hits 78 points, closes below the 78.6, then it invalidates the trend and it looks like we're changing structure to the downside. But yeah, that's for another video, and that's taught a lot more in depth in my course. But anyway, let's keep on topic. So we were looking for longs. So if we then just drop down onto the smaller time frames to get a much better precise entry. Now on the 4 hour, we could see we were already stalling multiple times, and we'd slow and we'd failed to break the 78.6. We'd had an attempt down here, but an immediate big 4 hour push afterwards. So we had multiple attempts here, and I was just looking for things to stall, which we were seeing, and rejecting that 78.6 to a T. So then I just dropped one more lower, or sorry, not one more lower, I dropped to the 30-minute time frame because I approached a bit more of a day trading strategy on this challenge, just so I could pass it a little bit quicker for you guys. So we then dropped down to the 30-minute. If I just pop that on there, where does that take us to? Here. So where's the 8th of August? There it is. So what we then waited for was then we wanted to see the 30-minute turn bullish. I'll just get rid of this box now. So if we look on the 30 minutes, we've been swinging lower and lower and lower. This was our most recent lower high of the bearish 30-minute leg, and even the 1 hour leg at the time. And all I was looking for was a break of this structure, which we saw here. And then we got in around 2390 once we'd seen that break of structure. And obviously with a fib level in there, we'd seen the 78.6 broken here, as well as that bearish RSP. So it was a double confirmation, hence the entry. And then off we went. Ended up banking 200 pips on this, and obviously it could have gone on for a lot more. So it's a great, fantastic trade. And as I did at the start of this clip, I'll also pop the trade up again so you can just see the data for it as well. So guys, one of the next big trades was a 5.2% win, and it was an intraday short, a bit of a day trade. So who says us swing traders can't day trade, eh? So basically I was waiting. If you look at, this was on the 15th of August in the end. So if you look at the 15th of August on the daily, you'll see we're very much bullish still. But we were overdue a pullback, and so was silver as a nice confluence, as well as the DXY. So it's about tying in all those other conferences. Anyway, long story short, I was waiting for a break of structure on the 4 hour, which we got with this 4 hour candle close here. And then simply we fibbed that 4 hour leg for a bit of an intraday position. And we're basically looking for a pullback. Apologies for the adverts. We're looking for then a pullback into that area of interest. And
which we saw. And 2450 was my round psych number in the end, which I got in off on the round the 50%. Below that, just below that, and then we rode that down into 2436. So I basically took profits off just after the 0%. Took risk off, 5.2% banked. I believe it was a lot size of 4. Obviously, I'll post a screenshot of the trade on the dashboard as well, so you can see the legitimacy of it. I don't believe is legitimacy a word. The transparency of it, you know what I mean. So that brought in 5.2%. And basically, it was a fib within a fib play because the minus 27%, which we didn't quite hit in the end, but the minus 27% took us down to a key fib level on the daily bullish fib. So it's a bit of a fib within a fib, an intraday play just to take us lower, to take advantage of the natural pullback that price does when it's swinging higher. We got in on a short position and 130 pips banked, 5.2% banked. So yeah, really, really nice trade, and that made obviously a massive help to the achieving the 8% profit target. So guys, as always, and for full transparency, we have to cover the losses because we all get them. Trust me, we all seriously get them. Even when you're 10 years into the game, it's a natural part of the process. But just to give you some context without complicating it too much, EUR/NZD at the time of this, so this price action here, we were bullish on the weekly, bullish on the daily, and we were bullish here on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour had made a new high, taking out this prior 4 hour high. Now on the daily, this is obviously just a couple of candlesticks. So this is why it's important you zoom out onto the daily and the weekly. But anyway, we'd made a 4 hour high. So I was thinking, right, we're going to look for some more day trades, of course, to try and pass the challenge a little bit quicker, which obviously we ended up doing. But anyway, long story short, we'd seen a 4 hour pullback. Now this was currently in the middle, we'd had a 4 hour pullback. This was Monday evening though. Never a huge fan of taking trades on a Monday, but I still will if the opportunity very much is there and it presents itself. So we then had a nice 4 hour push higher. I was thinking, brilliant, this 4 hour area of interest on the daily as well it has respected it. We're going to look like we're going higher. So there was no reason to question any bearish play here because weekly was bullish, daily was bullish, 4 hour was bullish, and of course we'd seen this nice then 4 hour push higher, which was lovely. So, and then just simply zooming in, again, because it's more of a day trade, I'm then just zooming in to see where do we get our area of interest in terms of, here we go. So the 1 hour obviously pulled back. That's the 4 hour candle you've just seen where it pulled back. And then this is the 4 hour candle where you saw it push higher. So then we're just simply looking for a 1 hour play. So basically of this fib from here to here of that 1 hour leg that's pushed higher. And we're simply looking for longs. So the long I ended up taking, I'm just going to get rid of that fib. The long I ended up taking was off this precise candle here. Because again, we were stalling. So we'd obviously made a higher high on the 1 hour. We'd pulled back and we were making a higher low. We'd had 1, 2 and 3 wicks with that follow through. So I was then looking, once this candle closed, I took a buy at 84.40 region. So right here. And then what happened, I'll always remember this for a very long time, and I shared this with the members afterwards on our back testing call because I had to laugh about it. I entered on at 184.40, which you can see on the screenshot of the trade, and it literally dumped on me straight away. Didn't even go into an ounce of profit. It literally dumped into drawdown straight away. Ended up hitting my stop. It took me out, and yeah, so it took me out for 1.4% in the end, which is annoying because it was the start of the trade. It was the start of the challenge. But hey ho, it is what it is. I said to the members, and I'll say it to you guys on here on YouTube, the weekly and the daily and the 4 hour were all bullish. There was no reason for me not to take this trade. And this is what I talk about. If these are the sorts of losses you incur when price just simply goes against you and the market goes against what the technicals are saying, then that's okay. That's absolutely fine. And my stop loss are in places for a reason, because then look what went on to happen. We ended up obviously melting and melting and melting. So we saw a trend change. It's just a shame I caught the wrong end of it. But that's part of trading, that's part of life, and this is why risk management is so key, because you're not going to get it right every time. you know, it's crucial. But anyway, we had a laugh together with the members because I shared that with them. I don't think anyone else took this, but I shared it with them, and I just found it funny because it went straight into drawdown, took me out. And yeah, it was a fantastic start to the challenge in a sarcastic way. So, but yeah, that was one of the biggest losses for 1.4%. Now, I'm just going to cover one other loss for part of this phase 1 video, just so you can see 2 wins and 2 losses, just again for full transparency. So this was again on Euro NZD. Didn't have the best of luck with Euro NZD this phase 1, to be honest, but hey ho. And this took me out for 0.9% or 1% basically. Again, I'll pop the screenshot on the chart. So just for some higher time frame, just to work down for you guys. So daily, we had obviously turned bearish. We had this daily candle here took out the prior low of here, which turned as bearish. This was obviously bullish at the time, came into our formed a higher low, pushed up, failed to form a new higher high above here. We completely failed, as you can see. So that was already raising suspicions, and then of course, which we knew about anyway. This is one of the other previous losses, but I won't go into that because I've just covered it on the other part of the video. But anyway, so we then came down and we had a break and a confirm of that previous higher low. So basically the bullish RSP here had been broken by this candle, and so it allowed us then to wait for this leg to finish, pop a fib on it, and then await to see where the potential area of interest may fall. So if I just pop onto the... So I ended up taking the trade actually at 182.80 or 81 at the time, but I'm just going to pop that on. So as we drop to the 4 hour, you can see that we were waiting. I was waiting here for this to basically push higher into this prior structure that had broken on the daily in the 4 hour. So we've gone at 182.80, and basically if I just pop the 61.8 on, I had my stops. Around there. Anyway, got taken out, and then what ended up happening, we ended up coming back lower and melting off in the intended direction that I had envisaged anyway. So highly annoying because again, direction was called right, but again, market just pushed higher, took me out, and again, because it was a day trade, obviously my lot size was slightly higher because of the tighter stop, which was good, of course, but yeah, stopped me out, and because it was a tighter stop, obviously it stopped me out. Whereas normally, if this was me on my personal account, normally I would have had my let's just get this on. I would have had my stops actually around the 78.6 or just above the 78.6 to allow price to breathe a bit more, because 78.6, if we tapped into there, we still would have been valid and we still would have been bearish on the daily, because obviously we'd seen the daily break structure on the other part of the video I've just shown you, and then obviously we would have had stops down into the minus 27%, or maybe even into the 61.8 fib extension. So it would have been a risk reward of either a 2.3 or a 3.3 in terms of targets. So yeah, that trade would be playing out really nice at the moment on my personal account, but because I took a more day trading approach on this challenge, just to get it past a little bit quicker, so it meant I could take a few more setups compared to swing trading, where I take fewer setups. You know what I mean. It just meant I had to have some tighter stops, but it is what it is, and that's obviously sometimes the downside of day trading, hence why I don't do a huge amount of it, and I prefer swing trading. But that took me out, as I said, for a 0.9, basically a 1% loss.
So guys, I hope that helps. I was umming and ahhing about how much and what to put in with this video, because I didn't want to draw it out for too long, because I don't want people to lose interest. So, as I always say on most of my videos, I want you to be able to watch my videos, get into them and get out of them, in the sense that you take the value, you take the knowledge, you take the advice and the education without having to sift through tens and tens and tens and tens of minutes or even hours of footage, because I just find there's a lot of waffle in that type of content you see from other people out there. So I'm rather get in, get out. But again, just showing you the screenshots and the appropriate stuff. Full transparency as always. You will always get that with me. And yeah, just shows you phase 1, 8%, done, ticked off. Again, I normally just trade my personal capital, but for sort of, I guess, for authenticity purposes, to show people another way of showing people that I'm genuine, I've been in the game a long time, I just thought it was good to sort of do this challenge and show people that, A, how to navigate them, but also secondly, to prove that, you know, I am who I say I am, basically. So guys, I hope you found that helpful. Reach out if you need anything. Of course, if you want to learn the strategy and how I view the markets and what I've obviously been sort of doing for the phase one at least, link is below. It'd be great to see you in there. But again, with this with this sort of phase one and phase two, which I'm currently in as we speak, I adopted more of a day trading approach. Normally I'm much more of a swing trader, but I find if you can absolutely master swing trading and all the concepts that come with that, then it makes you such a better day trader. And it's a much more transferable skill. Whereas a lot of people out there who are purely scalpers and intraday traders, they really find it difficult to come up onto those higher time frames and swing trades and sitting on your hands and the discipline and holding trades for longer, for bigger targets and bigger profits and bigger risk reward, basically. So yeah, but this is what I mean. It gives you, being a great swing trader, gives you that adaptability. So guys, I hope that helps. I'm gonna cut it there, and I will see you very soon, hopefully, for the passing of phase two, which is only 5% this time. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.